I'm going to be working with Caster again, and this is just leaving off from that first video where I was showing him how to lead. I got my videos mixed up, so I didn't get to put them together. It's the same day though, so we're just working on lunging and leading, getting him used to moving off of halter pressure. So that's where we're at. And I'm going to be doing some jumping, just like not with Caster, but like me jumping up and down so that he can get used to just seeing me move, and then I'll eventually be jumping onto his back and stuff like that. So I want him to kind of get used to that, and I'm just going to do a little fake jump here. Like I'm not going to even get off the ground. I'm just going to kind of see what he might react to that as like as a thing, so you can see what he would do without actually jumping. And he's pretty good. So and then I was like, okay, he seems okay with that. And then I did a little jump, and then as I jump, I'm gonna click and feed. So I want him to think every time that I'm jumping or doing something like that, it's a good thing. Like, oh, okay, all these new things are good, and I'm gonna get a treat. So that's my thinking behind this, basically. Because I want to start getting him used to me doing a lot more movement. In the beginning, he was really wary of just me even using two hands or moving too fast or like getting a bug off my leg. So definitely getting him used to just me moving more. And I'm going to start with the jumping away from him. I'm not going to start right next to his side. So that looks great. I wouldn't have jumped so much or so long, or I won't do that anymore. Like I'll do a little jump, I'll click, and I'll feed. So what I was doing at this time was trying to do a little mixture of negative reinforcement, positive reinforcement. So like if you did negative reinforcement, usually you're supposed to jump and keep jumping until I relax. So that's why I'm jumping so much, which can be exhausting and I'm not in shape. And it's just easier to do like one jump, click, and then continue to do that. Even though if your horse is like a little worried, like maybe do this little half jump like I'm doing here. I'm just doing the same thing. I'm prepping him for me to actually do a jump on his left side, and work on that, clicking and feeding that. Like when you kind of bend your legs like you're gonna jump, click that, do that some more, and then do a little baby jump, and then do a higher jump, and then you just click each time until your horse isn't worried about it. And that's what I would just keep doing and working on until they're fine with you jumping next to them. But I definitely wouldn't take the approach of just continuing to jump until they're relaxed. Um, it doesn't work as well, and you're gonna get tired and want to quit before the horse is relaxed. So there's other reasons, but those are your easiest ones. So um, he looks pretty good though. Castor's a pretty easygoing guy. He doesn't need a lot of desensitizing. Usually, the first couple times he sees something new, he's pretty curious, and if he is afraid, if I give him a reward, that's pretty much it. That's all he needs. So he's pretty easy to deal with as far as that goes. But I want to do a little bit more lunging stuff and getting him to move off of the rope pressure, which he's also quite good about. He just gets a little confused and he wants to do a little too much movement instead of just standing and waiting and thinking. He's thinking, but it's too much like, oh, you would like me to back up. You'd like me to do this. And like now I want him to back up. And part of that is my fault because he'll be like, okay, back up. Now turn left. Now turn right. Now go forward. Now back up. So I should have broken it down and like asked for, okay, let's back up a few times, then just kind of stand, take a break, do this, and then like turn left a few times and then take a break and something like that. So that he can have that time to just kind of process and not try to throw a bunch of behaviors at me. And that happens a lot in the beginning too. Just ask him to go to my left. He's thinking, he's thinking. There we go. And I'll click as he takes a step to my left. But that happens a lot in the beginning. They're confused. Maybe your cues are super similar to something else that you've done. And they're like, oh yeah, I know the answer. And then do something else. And you're just going to wait and just ignore them. And it's not a big deal until I figure it out. Or they go in the direction of figuring it out. So same thing, asked him here again. He's a little weary of having that snap up underneath his nose. So he was kind of like looking down at it. It's like touching under his nose and he's a little afraid of that. So he does it again here a little bit. I'm just asking and I'm kind of walking toward his hindquarters to kind of push him to my left. There we go. And I'll click that. I don't want to use a lot of pressure. I just want to kind of show him like, hey, I'd like you to go this way. This is the way that I'd like you to go. So that is my goal with this. Like again, I would have used the target now if I'm starting from now, because I'm voicing over this. This has been, I think, 2 years. I'm way behind. But at this point, I would have used the target. It would have been a lot easier. But I also would like to keep that part in where I'm using a little bit of pressure so they can be lunged normally as well, or at least really good on cues. So it works. So, but I think the target makes it a little bit more clear, especially in the beginning. Like here, he's a little confused. He's a little worried about that snap moving around. He's not so sure, and he's a little worried because I'm trying to ask him to go forward, and I just so happen that he's between me and the mounting block. There, that's better. So he's not between me and like trying to squeeze through a narrow place. So gotta be kind of aware of your surroundings, and I know that's just the mounting block. Like I'm very aware of like where the fence is. I'm not trying to send him between me and the fence at all because he's just not ready for that. But even that mounting block, like the presence of it there, worried him a little bit about going between that and me. So just kind of be aware of those things. Now I'm going to ask him to go the other way, and that was beautiful. He responded so well. He's super soft and light on the rope. That was fantastic. And really, like, I know a lot of like negative reinforcement, traditional horsemanship, it's like, oh, well, they're going to be hard and stuff in the beginning because they just don't understand. But with positive reinforcement, you can start from the beginning just being super, super light. And there's proof right here. Caster is amazing at this, and he's so light. So it doesn't have to be all crazy in the beginning. That was beautiful too. And now he's going to have one direction that's better than the other. Apparently, this going this way to, let's see, to his right is better right now. So either that or he's just kind of catching on and generalizing it to both sides, which is good too. So we'll take it, but I'm just gonna let him hang out and chew this. It's important that I give him some time to just think about it because I am very like almost too much, not necessarily goal oriented, but I'm like, I want to do this, this, and this today, and I want to just do them all. So I'll be like, oh, he needs to do this, and he needs to lunch, and he needs that, and I don't sometimes leave in enough breaks for him or for any of the horses to just kind of think and process and have a minute. So I need to think about that and catch myself and give him more time. So, but he's just getting right to it here. He seems to be figuring it out pretty well. But I don't necessarily need the round pen for round penning. But I like to have it because it is a nice, safe, good size work area. So if something were to go crazy, I have the panels. He's probably not gonna get through the panels. Like I'm trying to train to where that never happens. And he doesn't get worried and we don't have that problem, but you know, things happen. So I do like having the round pen to work in. Am I gonna round pen him and chase him around in there? No. So, but I do like having that workspace. It just helps having that smaller area to really like when you're teaching steering and you have the fence and the turn soon. So they have to kind of go into that and then they have to turn, which in a big arena it's a little bit more difficult. You just have that smaller space. It's just a little bit easier to work in, but it's not too small. So I like working in here, and then I like moving on to the arena or a different pasture, wherever you want to work. But I like having it. So this was really nice. I really like that. And now I'm gonna ask him for a few steps, and look how amazing he is. That was perfect. That was like his actual first little lunge where he actually went and did more than just like two steps to the side. He actually kind of stepped underneath with his hind legs. He had a nice little bend in his body. He was watching me. He was going on the circle. Like it was perfect. And that was like his first time actually doing it. So it was amazing, which I never got those results with like traditional horsemanship or natural horsemanship. It was just amazing. There we go. He's sending off really nice. I'll click him for that. And really, another good thing about having the positive reinforcement is he'll like in the beginning he'll kind of stop and look at you and be like, "Is this good? Did I do it?" But even though he's stopping and it's not as all that I wanted necessarily, sometimes I want that he's checking in. He's saying, "Oh, is this what you'd like? Is this good?" And he's just coming back to me when we have so many problems. This is beautiful. Look at that inside hind leg come around. Beautiful. But when we have so many horses who are just gone mentally, like they're looking at something, they're reacting to something, they're not connected with you, they're not thinking about you at all sometimes. I like having that built in and you really didn't even need to do anything. So it's just really helpful. Ask him to go the other way and see if he can just do a couple lunge steps the other way. He gets a little stuck and then he figures it out. So he's connecting the dots a lot sooner. That looks really nice. And I'm just trying to ask him to kind of yell his hindquarters. And he got a little worried. No big deal. But look at that nice bend, that inside hind leg crossing up underneath and under his belly. That's beautiful. He was excellent. He's got that lunging down real fast. And now Castor did learn this super fast. So not all horses are like that. Definitely not. And you'll see that with Atlas. Atlas is a lot more afraid of the ropes, and you'll see it broken down a lot more because that's what Atlas needed, and Castor just didn't really need it. So I take off the rope because he's not quite ready to take off the whole thing. I don't want the rope flying around and scaring him. I want everything to still be good. So once after I do some more desensitizing, I'll leave it on there. But for now, that was pretty good.